Well, the whole week was about execution, and as a program, we thought we had the competitive side of it in place. Fooled were we, and clearly we didn't come here prepared enough to play. Whatever crawls between their ears sometimes is beyond me, but the competitive piece that we thought we had in place certainly was missing, and Tommy's credit, they got the lead, and they didn't succumb to a little bit of pressure we put on them. But the thing that I think perturbed me more than anything else was the types of penalties we took. Had we been able to maybe convert on a couple of plays, and had we stayed out of the box, we might have given ourselves a reasonable chance to get back in it. But since we wanted to play with total selfish demeanor, we ended up, just being out-competed, outplayed, out-executed, totally embarrassed from my perspective, and just a pathetic performance by a group of guys that obviously have to find their way.
Does this change the way you use tomorrow as far as you put some of the guys back out there to try to shake that from them?
No, we've got a couple of kids that will be in for a variety of reasons, and we've got some guys that are going to be out of the game. Signer's not going to play in the game. Maku's not going to play in the game. There's certain people that we just don't feel that we need to put them back in 12 or 14 hours later.
Sure.
And we want to be able to assess some other guys that maybe haven't gotten as much ice time. They're certainly very much in the mix based on tonight's performance, because I had 3 or 4 really no-shows, and those guys put themselves in a precarious position in terms of getting ice time and being part of the regular flow. We tried mixing and matching lines. We made some young mistakes, but we also made some older mistakes. I mean, Kincannon's penalty was really a bad penalty, to create the 5-on-3. A couple of assignments were missed by young players again, or a bad decision on the 4-on-4 to make a blind lateral pass that led to the 2-on-1. Hanley got caught looking the wrong way and not facing the 2-on-2, and ended up getting turned on that 4-on-4 goal he scored. I mean, just a variety of horrendous mistakes. I'm incredibly disappointed beyond measure. And so the only thing we can do is get back to the drawing board and start teaching, and it begins tomorrow. And obviously, with a weekend looking ahead next week with New Hampshire twice, it's going to be an absolutely huge week in terms of our practice. One thing I can tell you is that this week we had 2 very good practices and 2 sluggish practices. And this is what you get when you get, I very rarely get through a week where you don't have some problems in practice or you don't have problems in games. See it all the time. You play as you practice.
You've been down 2-0 in 5 of the 7 games. Is it now searching for even gimmicks to try to change things at the beginning of the game?
No, the first goal against was a missed assignment on a face-off. First of all, it was a huge interference on the face-off.
Right.
I mean, a gigantic interference. The kid taken right off his feet, so we never get out to the shooter. But nonetheless, the puck goes to the net and there's a rebound. Had we read out the coverage properly, everyone would have skated into coverage and there would have been no rebound goal. But we had a freshman defenseman covers another man's player, so we had 2 guys covering one, and then the tap. So there's a mistake, number 1. So we're down 1-0. Okay, let's bounce back. And then Paul gives up a goal, a second goal that he'd love to have back. Just bobbled it off his blocker instead of just staring it into the corner. So too anxious. So you don't hear me often talk about specifics of players, but right now they've got to be accountable. They're getting pats on the back when they make good plays. Well, now let's stand up and be recognized when you're not making good decisions or not making good plays. So, I've never been a big believer of that at this level, but I see other coaches doing it and getting better results. So maybe I'm going to start doing it.
Is he not back all the way back in rhythm yet after the injury?
I can't speak to that. He certainly has shown us in practice that he seems like he's ready. But I keep telling everyone we're not looking, we're not making excuses, and we're not looking for other people to make excuses for us. We were just flat out bad tonight.
Did you think the Allen penalty was a hitting, from, into the boards?
Oh, from what I saw, it was a pretty good lick. I didn't know whether it was boarding or, you have to look at the video over and over again. I mean, that's their discretion. And a lot of these calls are judgment. Most of them are judgment calls. And they don't always see it exactly as we'd like them to see it. But it was a pretty good hit from behind. He should know better. You get your hands up on their back or their shoulders on the back.
Right.
That's all the makings of a penalty. Tell the guys all the time, when they show you your numbers, you got to keep your hands off their back, your shoulders off their back, and you'll be in good shape. Keep your stick on the floor. They want to push or they want to lean, and that's how you get that penalty. And it's a dangerous play, so it needed to be called.
Coach, what positives can you take from this?
Not much. Not much. I mean, Teglia went into the game and he looked okay. He gave up a goal, but he looked composed enough to be able to handle that challenge. Pereira scores a goal. He continues to find the net. The power play, I thought, moved the puck after the first power play pretty well. They had a pretty good tempo. They're not delivering it to the net. We need a couple of guys that can really deliver the puck to the net, and we need to finish. We had 2 or 3 runs on the power play where the puck's floating around the crease, and you ask yourself, how didn't it go in? So we need to finish, but the power play itself moved the puck a little bit better.
Following up on that power play, I saw a lot of shots on goal tonight that if there had been someone to rebound, that would have gotten in. Is that something that you're going to be working on in practices?
Well, we play with a long stick. We describe those goals as dirty goals. You got to be willing to take a lick, in order to score goals in that tight area. You got to be willing to get bounced pretty good, and you got to like the idea of scoring goals more than you're worried about taking a lick. So I mean, there's types of drills that we do within borders and so forth, tight area drills. We'll be doing lots of those, and we have been doing lots of those. But that's a mentality. Certain guys get into the end zone when they get in the football down the 3-yard line. Other guys don't. The guys that get into the end zones are going to take a lick.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.